Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. I have been so fortunate to spend the week with this BMW M4 competition. And the reason I've been lucky is because we used this car for some pretty fun track driving up at Buttonwillow Raceway north of Los Angeles. However, what makes me lucky is the fact that this car is not only so capable on track, it's also so comfortable to spend time in because realistically, even when you do tracking with your car and or go out for sporty drives or anything like that, most of your driving experience is done in mundane situations. And that's what's so impressive about the BMW M3 and M4 and really all their M products is the balance that they do between sporty, aggressive driving and handling that so well and simply being comfortable, nice cars to be in. Another thing that I've been so appreciative of is this paint color. Now, I film here under this shade, which admittedly I understand isn't necessarily the best for you all seeing the car. Keeps me a little cool in these 90-degree days. But this is an individual paint from BMW. Shout out to Jeff who spec'd this car out. Frozen Orange, not a super creative color name, but Frozen Orange is the name of it on Silverstone interior. So we've got this beautiful white leather, kind of white and black crossed color there, two-tone, sort of inverse skunk, and then this matte metallic finish on here. It's really, really fantastic. Rocking Pilot Sport 4S tires that even after a pretty aggressive track day have held up darn well. Carbon ceramic brakes in there too, definitely helping out on that hot track day. Some carbon fiber bits, you pay extra for them, but they do look cool. Carbon fiber spoiler, carbon fiber down there on the diffuser as well. Big ol' exhaust pipes, helping this 503 horsepower, 471 pound-feet of torque, twin turbo inline six do its breathing. Before we get behind the wheel, let's pop open the big ol' hood and take a look at it. Good struts, thank goodness. A lot of bracing in there in this competition package, and that glorious, glorious powertrain. I am a fan. We've been, again, fortunate enough to spend time in a lot of the BMW M3 and M4 models. In fact, I think I've driven just about every variation they make. X-Drive, non-X-Drive, competition, non-competition, automatic, manual, four-door, two-door, driven the non-M versions. They're all good, and this one is definitely one of the more stylish and good daily drivers. So let's get in and talk a little bit more about it. Some of you keen-eyed M4 or 4 Series enthusiasts will note that this is iDrive 7 in front of us here, not iDrive 8. Most 2023 models will be getting iDrive 8, but if your car was manufactured before March of 2023, you get the old system. And I'm actually okay with that. I prefer a lot of the physical controls for iDrive 7. The screen isn't as large, but it's so dialed in and works so well, and you still get wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, and I'm good with it. So we've got a little bit of a unicorn here between the frozen orange paint outside, the Silverstone interior, and the iDrive 7. This is kind of an ideal spec. As weird as it sounds, I really am having trouble motivating myself to go and shoot a review on this car. It's so good that you almost kind of run out of things to talk about with it. So we're going to kind of rattle things through here, maybe compare it a little bit to the RCF that we had recently, because there's a big change in ethos to the two cars. They both cost upwards of $90,000, kind of depending on how they're spec'd. The RCF is cheaper at the end of the day, but you're also getting a little bit less power and a lot older sort of design and feature set. But you're also getting an engine, a naturally aspirated 5-liter V8 that has more charisma and character than this twin-blown 3-liter inline six. There's more reward for earning your horsepower in that RCF. You actually got to wring it out, and you have to let the engine sing in order to motivate that heavy beast. Whereas this, a light breath on the throttle and away it goes. It's off to the races. This car is loaded with so much more technology. I don't know if I want to say it's a nicer place to be. It's it's nicer because of its modernity, if that makes sense. And what I actually really want to do, we're going to show you the track driving of this car. I mean, it's incredibly capable, it's very fast, and it's easy enough to drive at the limit and near the limit. But what actually makes the M4 for me is how easy it made my drive home from the track on Sunday with a lot of its technology. For around $2,000, you can option BMW's Advanced Driving Assist. I'll put up the name of it right here below, what it technically is. But essentially what you need to know is that on top of adaptive cruise control and then active lane keeping, if you're under 40 miles per hour and you're stuck in stop and go traffic here in the M4, it can drive itself for you. It'll watch your eyes, and you can take your feet off the pedals, your hands off the wheel, and just sit and watch the road, and it'll entirely drive for you. I actually came down and seeked out some stop and go traffic, so we should be able to demonstrate this here in the next few miles. Fortunately, traffic isn't too super hard to find here in SoCal, but 320, this highway's still moving along pretty decent. However, things should slow up here soon. So I'm going to activate the assisted driving to start. I'm hoping this still works with my head-mounted camera system. So as you can see, we've got this cruise control set to 70, but the car's slowing us down. That's pretty standard adaptive cruise control. But then also it's doing steering for me, but I still have to touch the steering wheel periodically to make sure it knows that I'm paying attention. As long as you keep a few fingers on the wheel like this, you're totally good, and you can kind of just pay attention like this, and along you go. Works pretty well. Okay, here we go. I see brake lights. Things should be clogging up. Let's see how quickly the car slows down for us. And again, this is a full-fledged, high-performance track machine, so that's what makes it more impressive that we have this sort of technology. Okay, get us below 40. Come on, come on. There we go. So, if we press mode now, any moment we should get a notification telling us that we can shift over into the semi-autonomous driving mode. There we go. Assist plus ready. Tells you to note the requirements. Press the mode button, and then, look at that. Tells you to stay attentive. It's got these green lights on the wheel. No feet on the pedals, no hands on the steering wheel. This M4 is driving itself. Coming down to not quite a stop. Oh. As things accelerate, once we get above 40 miles per hour, if that happens right here. Well, I actually need to get off at this exit, so I'm going to make a quick lane change. And it would simply go away and resume back to the normal adaptive cruise control with lane keeping assist. I really genuinely appreciate that. And that is such a nice thing to have when you're stuck in traffic, when you're cruising down the road and all of a sudden an accident happens in front of you and you've got 20 minutes of stop and go to deal with. The car takes care of it for you, and you'd be amazed at how much of a better mood you're in when you don't have to take care of something like that. Not only that, but when we're dialed down into the non-M modes here, this powertrain is so calm, cool, and collected and efficient. I think I averaged over 28 miles per gallon on my drive home coming back from the racetrack, which is just so impressive. Where are we at here? So even after sitting for a while, we're at 27 mpg, which means that before all my filming, that was pretty high up there. Using these M1 and M2 buttons, you're able to customize how you want the vehicle set up for you and then quickly get back to those settings. So if I press this setup button down here, I've got different settings for engine, chassis, steering, and braking, and I can mix and match those and save them to both of these buttons. And then pressing them again gets me back to sort of a standard calm driving situation. And then on top of that, you've got a little toggle here on the shifter for your transmission aggression. 3 different settings there. So when I'm just getting out to the sporty roads here, it's a calm morning or afternoon or something like that, or it's a day like today where I didn't really feel like going out and driving. I'm just kind of doing it here to shoot the review. it's a perfectly nice car to be in. The suspension isn't rattling my teeth. Nothing is too loud. Steering is nice and light. And then as soon as we get up into the twisties, I'll slap this M2 button and we'll be off to the races. Another nice bit of tech for getting around town in the car is the head-up display. We've got it optioned here in this car. Let me go ahead and set a destination here in Android Auto, which I should say is incredibly easy to do because we've got the touchscreen ability there and this nice rotary knob. I'm glad that BMW still got that in here. And then as I'm coming up to my next turn, I get right in front of me the speed limit, and then which lanes are available in front of me and which one I should be in. So it's telling me I should be in the right lane in order to make a right turn in 0.2 miles. It's giving me that information down here on the gauge cluster as well, in case you didn't option the head-up display or you don't like having it on. There's a lot of those little touches to these newer cars that don't make it through on the spec sheet so well, but once you own it, or you spend time in the vehicle and you actually do day-to-day life, you realize how nice and intuitive many of these features are. Yeah, I mean, the beauty of this car is just the predictability, both on track and then in life. I mean, we had the Z06 Corvette out yesterday, which was an amazing car, but this was 3 times more comfortable getting here, driving 3 hours on the highway. And then you come and you thrash it, and then you head home. I mean, it's a great do-it-all sort of car. If you want more doors, you get an M3.
Yeah.
You want to put me in MDM?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Track's pretty quiet right now. Everyone's gotten tired.
Yeah.
And hot. M4 is still going strong though. I haven't had any heat management issues today.
No.
Carbon ceramic brakes are amazing.
Yeah, I've been impressed by that.
Yep. If you guys haven't been able to hear anything up until this point, welcome to the review of the BMW M4 on track at Buttonwillow. Because I've had windows down all day in this thing.
Much better.
A little bit quieter.
Natural engine noise.
There we go.
How the Lord intended it.
Yeah, this is a relatively easy car to drive at the limit, especially with M dynamic mode. You turn everything off and it gets a little scary sometimes with the power, but M dynamic mode is so much better than it used to be. You used to just cut power everywhere, and now it gives you a little bit of slip.
Yeah, they've even leaned into that with the whole drift analyzer you can get on some of the cars.
Yep.
That will let you hang it out to a certain degree, depending on how you set it up.
Yeah, this doesn't have the M drivers package, so it's lacking the M drift analyzer, but that's okay.
It's actually been kind of cool to track one of these without the carbon seats, because these still hold you pretty well.
They do.
And they're very comfortable.
Yep. You know, we've tracked our BMWs with the crazy carbon buckets. Charlie's getting pretty comfortable with Buttonwillow. Looking good out here. And we've just been leaving this in automatic all day to drive. I mean, it's figuring out all the shifts, it's making all the right decisions. I haven't really needed to mess with the paddles.
You're doing okay?
Doing great.
Good. Keep it nice and smooth for you.
Yeah. Love these curbs. They're not too high, not too aggressive.
Yeah, you can actually run up on the curbing on this track.
Yeah. That little bump there is fun.
you barely notice it in this car, but in the Miata, the whole it threw you all over the place. I'd really like to spend a day roasting carbon ceramics and see how much they can really take, because I mean, you just expect brake fade on a hot day like this. Is 95 degrees outside. We've been running this all day and it's still biting hard.
Yeah.
It's so interesting going to a new track for the first time, and kind of, you know, you get to a point where you sort of plateau. You get comfortable with the track and familiar, but you know there's a lot more speed in it.
Oh yeah.
You just, it takes so many repetitions of going a little bit quicker and then a little bit quicker and just learning. And this track has a lot of this high-speed stuff where you're gonna push, but if you push too far, you're going off. There's not much wiggle room.
There's been a lot of offs today.
Yeah, and I really don't blame them. This corner is a perfect example. I'd love to carry a little bit extra speed, but all it's gonna take is, you know, a little bit to have that happen.
No, you're doing great out here. You're killing it, man.
Thanks.
Big shout out and thanks to the California Collegiate Motorsports. What's the group name?
California Collegiate Car Crew, something like, I don't know. Yeah, CCA, I think it was.
Yeah. Also, big shout out to the event organizers here at CCA. Their goal is to get people out of the canyons and onto the racetrack, and they put on very affordable track days with lots of drive time. Today was about good solid 4 hours of run time. I mean, we've been here all day long.
It's long enough that we're not even staying for the full thing, put it that way.
Exactly. We're going home because we're tired and hot.
So it's long enough, and they provide a lot of instruction.
That's right.
And kind of ride-alongs and stuff. A lot of different things going on today. Big shout out to them.
Yep, they did an awesome event, and they put on a handful of these a year. So anyway, we'll put a link in that to the description if you're in the area and you're a college student or you just want to go out to a good track day. Definitely get in touch with these guys. They put on a good event. Cool.